unbridled emotions coming out there. Time now to see who is going to take this year's European title for the compound men. We're going to see two teenagers go up against each other. Denmark's Fullerton against Turkey's Yildiz.
On target number 1, representing Denmark, Mathias Fullerton. On target number 2, representing Turkey, YAKUP. YILDIZ. The line judge for these matches, Clement Cesar. And shooting first on target number 2.
Well, here we go. It's time to find out who is going to be this year's European champion for compound men. And it is a surprising lineup. World number 73, YAKUP YILDIZ. He's 18 years old. He's from the host nation, Turkey. He will be shooting first, and he's going to have the crowd right behind him. But he's up against someone who's just one rank higher in the world rankings. World number 72, Mathias Fullerton of Denmark, who is also 18. This is a glimpse into the future of compound men's archery. Wind affected, I think, that arrow from the Dane.
I would think so. Long hold as well. Perhaps a little bit of unbalance on the release.
Well, making a minor adjustment there, but I think you have to say that the wind has already become a factor here in this gold medal match, European title at stake. Positioning and grouping of those arrows very good, just a bit right of where they need to be.
Another big movement though before the shot went off, so I think it's a bit of an error on his part really. We'll just settle into the match and bring those in.
9.
Well, 27 is going to be enough to take it, but can Fullerton mitigate the damage? He can with a 10. Back into the middle for him, and the Dane just trails by a single point here. Well, we've got nerves, we've got wind, and we've got a European title at stake. There's a lot of pressure here on these 18-year-olds.
Yeah, absolutely. YAKUP is the only Turk to reach the finals as an individual. You can hear his delegation in the VIP seats there, giving him some support, and you know, I'm sure Mathias is fairly aware of that they all stood behind him, cheering on his opponent.
Well, I think now that they've got through this first end, they are settled. There's a great deal of joy competing on home soil, of course, but with it comes some pressure. On the other side of the shooting line, the Dane perhaps might be his agent a little bit. Well, where's my support? Well, and you know, these teams at the moment are still having to travel lean, aren't they? His coach is there, or certainly one of the team members in the box for him. At the start there, he's pulled away and got away, Mathias Fullerton, with a 10 now, but I'm not quite sure how. Just a little bit more composure in that one.
Yeah, he looks just really solid, doesn't he? Whereas Mathias here, we can just see a little bit more nerves, a little bit more movement, just not quite settled yet.
Yep. 10.
Great perfect there in the end. He's managed to battle to that, certainly with the first arrow. Arrows 2 and 3 were solid, but this has been masterclass, really. Even though the same score, you have to say the composure that YAKUP YILDIZ shot that perfect 30 is incredible, and the Turkish conveyor belt producing all these brilliant archers seems to still be working.
Yeah, they train hard on this field, so he'll know the field well, he'll know the conditions here, which are very changeable, and he should feel pretty confident here.
Now, the conversation going on here between coach and judge, what do you think this can possibly be about?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you. There's obviously some discussion about something, but there's nothing obvious that we saw that was a problem there.
No, fascinating, isn't it? That was a fairly in-depth conversation. Now let's take a look at whether we can see anything here. That, in fact, is YILDIZ, and I think we're just getting the highlights of the match with the close-ups of those scopes and all the state-of-the-art equipment these archers are using. Well, remains a mystery to know what the discussion between coach and the Danish coach and the line judge was, but it is YAKUP YILDIZ who's leading after 2 ends, and Matthias Fullerton will get us underway.
Really building up a nice group just on the left of the 10 there. Longer hold being counted down, but solid. Really wasn't happy with that. Again, perhaps a longer hold, just lost the balance on it. We were so zoomed in, couldn't quite see. But out into the 8.
9.
Struggling to get these arrows off into the 9 with that one. Dropping 3 points and really a chance YAKUP to extend his lead.
Pushes it up into the 9, has extended that lead, but only by 2 points when there was an opportunity to push it by 3. But the pace of the matches has settled now. They've got just a little bit more into their rhythm.
Yeah, I think Matthias, though, he's still really struggling to make those shots go, and we've just seen him up there a little bit longer, shaking a little bit, so he just needs to really commit to them, really have confidence that that shot is going to go off, it's going to be okay, stick with it, but he's just struggling a little bit with his shooting back tension release aid. We saw him in Lausanne, didn't we? He made the final 4 at his first appearance of a World Cup, which was great to see. He did lose both those matches on that stage, so whether he's feeling a little bit less confident, you know, having had those 2 losses recently, just 2 weeks ago, you know, is he replaying in his mind what happened before? And he needs to pull himself out of that.
Yeah, but just 18 years old, so the more times he can appear here, there is the contingent we talked about. In fact, it's most of the team there, a few of the volunteers that have helped get this competition underway. Great for them to see a Turkish archer in the final. But yeah, for the pair of them, the more experience they can get on this field in the finals, the better it will be for their futures. And well, it is YILDIZ who really does look like he's got a very, very promising future ahead of him. Perhaps a little bit sooner than Matthias Fullerton. Time for the 4th end, though. Fullerton to shoot first.
9.
Extending his lead by another point.
Bit of a long hold, but gets the 10 and for another perfect score. Into the 10s. So the pair of them now showing what they can do. Fullerton just perhaps took a little bit longer to settle into this than YILDIZ. That's why we're seeing potentially a 3-point lead. Another perfect from him. Slightly different from the one in the second end, but it has pushed him into a 3-point lead. And tremendous performance from, in particularly, YAKUP YILDIZ. Now, I have had a little nudge that the conversation between the Danish coach and the judge was actually a challenge about whether YILDIZ was drawing too early. Now, first off, can you explain what that means? And secondly, why is that why is it an advantage that the coach would see that he wants to make a complaint about?
So these archers are shooting with 20 seconds on the clock. When they finish their time, the clock goes over to the other archer as they alternate. So if the archer's drawing too early, they're actually gaining more time. So instead of 20 seconds, perhaps they've got an extra second there of their time. So, you know, your coach is there to spot things in the box. You know, as an archer, you're there just to shoot your arrows. But if the coach notices, you know, there's a problem like that, then they can raise it with the judge as a concern. I think probably the outcome of that is the judge is going to be a bit more vigilant on what's happening, and if necessary, he could bring out a card. But, you know, we'll have to see what happens.
We certainly will. 3-point lead for YILDIZ, who was the one facing the challenge. That is Fullerton trailing will shoot first in this fifth end. 3-point gap is difficult to claw back in a single end. But Fullerton has a job to do, and that's to put it into the 10s and put his opponent under a bit more pressure. Oh, there's one of them back. Great grouping.
He's found his groove now. He's really, you know, got his confidence to make that release go off when he wants it to on that back tension.
Still holding on to that 2-point lead though, the Turkish archer. Perfect on. He's got a 29. So finishes with a 141, and 8 is what's required for the European title. Oh, the worst of the lot from him in his 15 arrows, but he did get the 8 he required, and YAKUP YILDIZ, at the age of 18, has become the European champion in his home country here in Antalya. What a brilliant performance. YAKUP, the champion.
The hosting country.
Well, YILDIZ has been threatening for a little bit, hasn't he? We've seen him show what he can do, mainly in team setup, but here he's come out and he's really performed way beyond his years.
Yeah, he just looks confident, doesn't he? He looks calm, controlled with those shots, and yeah, enough to take the win here today.
Yeah, superb performance. A little bit unsettled from Matthias Fullerton, who we have seen their confirmation that YAKUP YILDIZ has taken the title. Took a while to settle in, and then a bit of a distraction. The coach complaining about the opponent perhaps drawing early. I think that didn't help things, but then he settled in and showed what he can do. And perhaps the next time we see him on the podium, he'll just be that little bit more settled.
Yeah, he was really struggling to get those shots to go off, just holding a bit too long, trying with the back tension to make it happen, and starting to shake. And as we saw through the ends, he really got on top of that. He got his confidence back. He shot some ends there that we know he can do. So this is all experience, and we are going to see him again in the future.
Yeah, certainly. I think we're going to see a lot of both of these archers. But it's Jakub Yildiz who will be standing on top of the podium as the European champion a little bit later on. We talked about the groove that you need to get into and you get to these podium matches. It took Fullerton just a little bit too long to make him a realistic threat. Just couldn't find his way, but look at the calmness here from the 18-year-old Turkish archer. Proof that the factory that produces these archers here in Turkey is working very well indeed. Strong relationship clearly between coach and athlete. Let's go and speak to the European champion.
Öncelikle tebrik ederim. Çok heyecanlı olmalısın. Takımdan sonra bireyselde de altın madalya kazandın. Neler hissediyorsun?
Ya şu an gerçekten çok güzel oldu. Takımdan sonra da böyle bir bireysel dereceye ulaşmam. Şu an acayip heyecanlandım zaten. Yarışmada da belli olmuştur eminim çizgide. Ama cidden çok güzel bir mutluluk oldu benim için bu.
Yarışma gergin başladı. Hava koşulları senin atışlarını nasıl etkiledi?
Evet, ilk başta antrenman sahasına göre nişangahımız biraz değişti rüzgarın şiddetinden dolayı da. Ama hemen tecrübemizden dolayı geri toparlayıp normal bir şekilde atışımıza geri döndük.
Çok genç bir yaşta Avrupa şampiyonu oldun. Bu senin için ne ifade ediyor?
Bu benim için çok onur verici bir duygu açıkçası. Şu an ciddi bir yarışma kazandım. Yani çok güzel oldu bu genç yaşta bu dereceyi elde etmem. O yüzden şu an çok mutluyum yani. Çok düzgün de cümle kuramıyorum.
Tekrardan çok tebrik ederiz.
Çok teşekkürler.
Well, again, my Turkish letting me down there, but I mean, Nicky, it's fabulous when any home nation athlete wins on home soil, but winning the European title on home soil at the age of 18, he's already going to be a superstar in Turkey.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many more goals to go for. We're going to see him more on the World Cup circuits, and he's going to want more medals after this, so I think it's just going to make him more hungry.
Yeah, certainly is, and let's hope we see more of Matthias Fullerton as well, because he looks the real deal as well. Just took a little while longer to settle into that gold medal match, but the star of today for this individual competition has to be Jakub Yildiz. Now it's time for the victory ceremony for the compound men. Been a brilliant day of archery here on Compound Saturday. This is the last of the medal ceremonies.
Medals will be presented by Mr. Abdullah Topaloğlu, President of Turkish Archery Federation.
President of the Turkish Archery Federation will be crowning
Bronze medal,
his
sending
compatriot,
Poland,
18-year-old
Łukasz
compatriot, as the
Przybylski.
European title winner. Łukasz Przybylski came through a challenging bronze medal match against the German Tim Krippendorf. Came from behind, pipped his opponent at the post. Polish archer
Silver
gets
medal
a bronze medal
representing
for his
Denmark,
efforts.
Matthias Fullerton.
Took a while to settle into the final for this young man, but the 18-year-old Dane Matthias Fullerton has taken European silver, something he can be very proud about, and there's absolutely more to come from him.
Gold medal and European champion, representing Turkey, Jakub Yildiz.
Well, he was itching to jump up onto the top step of the podium. He remembered he had to wait until he heard his name. 18-year-old Jakub Yildiz from Turkey has taken his first senior European title here on home soil, and it was a tremendous performance, a well-deserved European title for Jakub Yildiz. And it's time to celebrate with his anthem. Well, brilliant archery here in Antalya, as we've come to expect. Wind playing its part throughout the day, but here's confirmation of our medalists here in the compound men's. YAKUP YILDIZ taking the European title on home soil, beating another teenager, Mathias Fullerton of Denmark, who has got lots to come, I'm sure. And it's Łukasz Przybylski of Poland who has taken the bronze medal. Well, Nikki, it's been a fabulous day here, and we've coming to an end. We've had our final celebrations. Here are the rankings for the final standings effect for the European Championships. YAKUP YILDIZ from Mathias Fullerton of Denmark, and Łukasz Przybylski beating Krippendorf of Germany in the bronze medal match. But Nikki,